Hello, buddy. Today we have Lucy with us. She's a psychotherapist and the founder of Me First Method. She helps women reconnect with themselves and feel more grounded. So you might ask, what is this Me First Method? Let's get to that in a bit. In the meanwhile, let's get to know a bit more about Lucy and the work from her, and then we'll take it from there. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Lucy to our channel and thank her very much for taking the time and speaking with us. Thank you so much, Lucy, and over to you.
Thank you so much for having me inviting me onto this podcast. I'm a psychotherapist and I have been for 18 years, starting off learning hypnotherapy, family constellations, dream work, human design, a whole bunch of modalities that come together to support the people that I sit with each day.
So, Lucy, please tell us, where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
I grew up as a child with two different families. My mum separated my dad when I was 18 months old. So I actually have no memory of my parents ever being together. All my memories are around that separation. And I would spend only every second weekend with my dad, and I grew up mainly with my mum. And it was hard, obviously, having a separated family like that. And also, it built so much resilience and strength within me. I didn't share, though. I grew up in Singleton, which is a coal mining country town in New South Wales. So very different to Mumbai, with population of at the time maybe,
Thousands?
yeah, just a couple of thousands.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So back then, what would have been the roughly of the population where you were staying as a child, roughly?
Yeah, roughly maybe 20,000.
Oh, Mumbai must have been much, much more,
Much, much more. Yes.
much more. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
anyway,
everybody knows everybody,
yeah,
which was an interesting way to grow up. You couldn't get
yeah.
away with anything as a child. Everybody's got their eyes on you.
Absolutely. Can imagine, I can imagine. So in my native place, it is in Mangalore, Karnataka, just south of India. It's like a smallish area compared to Bombay. So everyone knows each other. So everyone has your eyes on you, what you're doing, what is happening in your life and all that. Snooping around, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Good, good.
So
Yeah.
Lucy, please tell us, what was happening in your life when you were about 28 years that led you into therapy?
Yeah, this is such a clever question. I don't know if you ask this question to everybody or it was me in particular. I'd love to know after I answer your question. But this was the time. Yeah, this was the age that I entered into becoming a therapist myself. But it's also astrologically, it is your Saturn return around 28 to 30, which is a big pinnacle moment in all of our lives if we think back to those ages. And so it's usually a pretty hard time. But I was just like, this question's interesting. He has obviously researched me and knows about my backstory, or he just wants to know about that 28 to 30. So I was a mum of three by the time I was 27. And during my third child, I wanted to have hypnobirthing. And instead of, because I couldn't have epidural or anything for labor. So, but anyway, turns out I couldn't do the hypnobirthing, but I became very interested in hypnotherapy and how you can have pain, but go through labor without any pain, should I say. And I was like, this is incredible. And then I researched people were getting their tonsils out, not even having general anesthetic. And so I explored hypnotherapy, and that kind of led me into the path of becoming a therapist.
So, like you are asking, this is not a question that I ask everyone. So, like mentioned in your answer only. When I went to your profile, I studied about you. So that's how I came to this question.
Yeah, thank you. You've done your research.
Yes. So, Lucy, please tell us, how did your experience with PTSD shape the way you show up for women today?
Yeah. This is also a very interesting question. So I got PTSD from living in South Africa. My husband's South African, and we lived there for 8 years. And being a little Australian country girl in South Africa, I had some pretty big experiences that was very violent experiences, guns being shot at my husband, etc. And so when I came back to Australia, I got the PTSD. So it wasn't actually while I lived there. I could manage while I lived there, but it was when I came back to safety, I suppose,
Yeah.
not having to be so security conscious. And it really encouraged me to look in at how did my family of origin and the connections that I have there force me into living, or not force me, but it was, we are part of the soup of our family system. And there was some violence in not so much with me, but my parents, that maybe I was carrying in my system. And then I went and experienced that for myself in another capacity. And so it really allows me to have a look at what was I carrying that I needed to neutralize in myself. How can I manage my own nervous system? How can I disentangle from these stories and then find that calm within? And then I was able to, really show other women that too.
So around the time when you guys were in South Africa, what was going through your mind that led you to it, roughly, in short?
Led me to live there, or led
Or
me to.
when you were living in South Africa, that experiences about PTSD, what is roughly happening to you? What is going through your mind?
Mm. When I was in South Africa, I was in survival. So there wasn't much happening for me there.
Yeah.
I was very scared all the time, very scared, looking all the time, not being able to relax.
Yeah.
When I came to Australia, anxiety, just just this big feeling of anxiety, and I couldn't get a hold on it. I thought I was going to die. I kept
Yeah.
feeling like I was going to have a heart attack and I was dying. But of course, it was just the trauma wanting to come up and out and be looked at. And that's very common when we have when we have a traumatic experience or a couple of traumatic experiences. It's when we get into safety that the brain says, okay, you can deal with me now.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't usually affect you over here. Well, it does, but on a different level.
Yeah. So you're mentioning that your husband is from South Africa, that's right? My father, he's an Indian, but he was born in somewhere in East Africa, Tanzania, that side. So this thing came up
Oh,
by coincidence. A common
yeah.
factor, you can say.
You've got you've got roots there too, I suppose.
Yeah, some kind of roots in Africa also. Yeah. So, so was there a moment when you discovered family constellations and realized this is it? This is what I would like to do? Lucy?
Yes. Well, I feel like family constellations for me, um, it kind of evolved into these moments within me. It wasn't really oh my goodness, this is it. Well, apart from that first ever workshop that I went to as a client, and I sat in that workshop and my mouth was like, and I was crying and all of this stuff was coming up. So what type of magic is this? And I knew that I wanted to learn it, and I knew that that was my next path. But what it actually did for me, with my family of origin, and how it settled my nervous system, is a constant, ever evolving thing for me, because I'm seeing it now, even just when I get to hold somebody else in their process and I watch the energy shift and change and how they report being so much calmer, and I'm like, yeah, this is it, this is the work, this is it. So it's almost like I'm reminded every day, this is the work that has had the biggest impact on me and my healing. And it's what's so beautiful about it as well is that it keeps working long after the process.
It does. So, how would you explain right brain rituals and active daydreaming in simple terms to someone who has no idea about it?
Yeah. Well, right brain rituals is really just creative expression, and it's about getting you in contact with your inner child and allowing them to express themselves however they like. And it's also connecting with and exploring nature instead of just walking over nature, being with, noticing, hearing, feeling, experiencing nature. We might have a bit of rain and we're like, hey, get me out of here. But how about we just feel the rain and notice what it does to us, and smell it and be with it. This is right brain activation. And then the active daydreaming is really when somebody has an issue that they want to look at. Then we can say, okay, this issue or this relationship problem, whatever it is, let's daydream on that. And let's give the issue, let it be an animal, for example. And then we let the animal come in as the issue. And then how do we relate to that animal? Let it unfold in your imagination. And sometimes the imagination just creates a solution.
Sounds great, Lucy.
Not all the time, but we get more information when we just actively daydream about a situation.
Share that. So, Lucy, for a mom who feels overwhelmed, what would you like to tell her? She wants to calm herself down. What should she do to calm herself down?
Yeah. This is very common. And we have to learn how to soothe ourselves as mums, as adults, as fathers as well. We need to learn how to self-soothe. We're very good at soothing a baby, a child, a toddler, but our nervous system is the same. We need to be comforted, and we need to find ways to comfort ourselves and do exactly what I always tell my mums, do exactly what you know how to soothe your child. So what would you do? You would pick your child up, you rock your child, you pat your child, you shh. You allow, you breathe, you hum, you might sing. And these are beautiful techniques for us. We feel it, and it's things that we can, in the moment, start to do with ourselves, and not try and figure it out. Don't get in the brain. We just need to get into the body and, support ourselves that way first.
Yeah.
And when we're relaxed, we can problem solve from there.
Sounds great, Lucy. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic, in fact.
Mm.
So, Lucy, how do you help women let go of perfectionism or anxiety, which could be rooted in their childhood?
Yeah, so I think if there's anxiety or this is an attachment issue, especially the perfectionism, I need to have it perfect so that I can be the good girl or the good boy, and that everything will be okay. It's like a controlling thing, then I'll be loved. And so I would address this in a process with that part. It's an inner child part that needs to know that they are loved no matter what. They don't need to be neat and tidy. They don't need to get it all right. In fact, you're going to get it wrong and you're going to make lots of mistakes. And that's what makes you human. And so it's connecting in with that inner child and giving them so much love so that they can take the place of the child and not be in a having to control or a adult space, but really let the person or the woman play out her childlike self, where she doesn't have to be anybody to anything. And that can take a little while. It's not, obviously something that I can just talk into now, because there are things that weren't seen in that child. They were only seen for their perfectionism or seen for doing a good job. And so that connects me to my belonging. So that's how I will adapt my identity. But she needs to be seen just because she's that person, and she's loved regardless. Yeah.
So, Lucy, can you please share a moment from your me first method? What one of the moments that has actually stayed with you, and also can you please talk about what is this me first method, Lucy?
Yeah. One of the moments that has stayed with me from retreat is a mum that was arrived. She was sick. She had picked up one of her children's stomach bugs. So she was, and it was like the first time that she'd ever been able to come to a retreat and do this thing. And now she's sick. And she was like, oh, I'm so upset. Anyway, she had a big process where she got to really see and express her anger. And we made a connection back with her mother, who was, she hadn't seen, she had died at a very young age. And this in the work was something that was such a slow, mindful process. And since then, this beautiful woman, mother, has felt so calm, so relaxed, and so connected with her children and her husband. It's just been beautiful, and certainly something I've just got this vision of the love that was in that room that her mum was obviously always trying to give to her. And she got to connect with that and fall into that and feel that. It was really quite beautiful. And I mean, that's just one of many. But the Me First method is really learning how to self-soothe ourselves, go first as mums, and the importance of our nervous system in the family and how it is, if mum is not okay, dad is not okay, children are not okay. And so in a way, we are the center of the home. And it's really important that we focus on being able to soothe ourselves, regulate ourselves, and do the process work and the family constellations work that allows us to be free, really free. And lastly, we embody all of who we have been. So, looking back over our life, the little versions of us that didn't know better, or the versions that, maybe got in trouble or were flawed in some way, we bring them all home and we say that we are flawed because we're human.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us the beautiful human and the complex, beautiful human that we are.
Yeah.
So that's the Me First method.
So when did this Me First method first take birth or occur to your mind? Which year?
Yeah, it was actually last year. So since 2013, I've been running women's groups and self-love groups for women. So this is not new. I've always been doing self-love stuff. And just this constant conversation with women saying, I'm at the bottom of the priority list, the people pleasing, the giving everything to everybody else and feeling absolutely depleted here. And I really knew intuitively and energetically that this is not right. This is not the right order that we have to, we are very important. And so I thought, I'm going to tell the world that me first.
Absolutely.
Always me first. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Lucy, looking ahead, is there something that you're excited about, something new that you're thinking of exploring to further your women's inner child work?
Yeah, actually, I am going to possibly be creating an inner child retreat for women down the track, but that's going to come after an us first retreat, because the order is me first, then us first, mum and dad. And so I'm doing a couples retreat off the back of the me first, and then we're going to look into the inner child. So I'm really stretching my comfort zone.
Sounds fantastic, Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lucy, through your reels, I happen to notice that you use dolls or miniature figurines to do your storytelling purposes and all that thing. So, I wanted to ask you, how did you come to that idea? How did it take birth? That idea, it's fantastic. I love that idea.
Yeah, well, when I do one-on-one sessions with people, I bought these dolls and I would quite often set up little family dynamics for them to be able to look at it. And I've had them for years. And then I thought, I really want to showcase these dynamics, and it's easy to use the dolls. So I just started making up videos for that. And then people were like, oh, I really love your doll videos. And because I think people are visual learners as well, they like to see and so it caught on. Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's superb, Lucy. Keep it up. Keep up the great work, Lucy.
Thank you so much for your support.
So, Lucy, apart from other things that we have discussed, is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers today?
I think there was a question that you said that I remember having at the very end of your list of questions, and I think it was something that I'd like to share with women about herself.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's not just women, this is a message for everybody, is that we all have a place in this world and we all have the same amount of space. So we don't need to shrink or hide ourselves because then we're not in our space. There's a little cutout space for me and there's a little cutout space for you in this universe. And that's yours, and go and claim it. And in your space, you can do whatever you want, and express yourself however you like. And this is your space to play in and to know that you are loved no matter what.
Yeah. So, Lucy, what would you like to tell your younger self?
My youngest son. Oh, that she is not a bad person, that she has such a beautiful big heart, and it's not about, you're going to make mistakes and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You've got so much love to give, and your intention is everything.
Thank you so much, Lucy, for sharing all this valuable knowledge and information with us. It was absolutely wonderful speaking with you. And we wish you continuous success in all aspects of your life. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video, and have a good day. And I'll see you next one. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you so much for having me.